Hello there, and thanks for joining me again. In this tutorial this time around, I'm going to tie you up a spinner fly, and I want to show you a very simple spinner technique for doing the wings on spinners. And it simply uses hackle for the wings, clipped on the top and bottom. And this is how I tie mostly all my spinners, even down to, for instance, a size 20 or 22 tricos. I use this method for the wings. And whatever particular spinner you're trying to match, you can change your body color. I use micro fibetts for the tails, and if you don't have micro fibetts, you can use hackle fibers and split them the same way. So I thought I'd show you how I tie this technique of spinner. So I'll get this guy the vise and a fresh hook in and get started for you. In this particular spinner, I'm tying the rusty brown spinner, this guy. So we'll get him out the vise. Now the hook I'm using is a TMC 100. I'm tying him on size 12 here, the larger size spinner for the video. Get that hook locked down on the vise here. Alrighty. Now for thread, I'm using rusty brown Denville 6/0 dry fly thread. And we'll just start a little bit behind the eye here. And we'll get our thread base down. Okay. And we'll come back to just about to the barb and snip off our tag end. Alrighty, let's kind of zoom in a little bit more, folks. There we go. Alrighty, now the tail, I have some light done micro fibetts. I'm just going to put 2 in here for the tail. Well, getting ahead of myself a little. Before I do that, I'm going to take a little bit of rusty brown dubbing, just a very tiny amount. And I'm going to form a little dubbing ball before I tie in my micro fibetts. Just the least little amount of dubbing here. Slide that up and we'll wrap that on for, I'm just forming a small little dubbing ball. Very small. Okay, wrap the thread forward. Now, we'll take our micro fibetts this time and tie these in. Okay, I'll measure those. Usually I like them to be a little bit longer than the whole hook, so I'll bring those back and tie those down with a pinch loop, pinch wrap, and then we'll wrap back towards those. Now with that dubbing ball, when you wrap back, it'll nice snug grabs. Once you hit that dubbing ball, it'll help start to split your fibetts. Then we'll just take a cross wrap between those to divide them, just like so. That divides our tail for us. And we'll come ahead again and snip off our excess fibetts. Okay. Now a little more dubbing. We're going to form a really skinny noodle for the body as well. I like to keep these bodies nice and thin on my spinners. So I'll get some more of that rusty brown dubbing here. Put a really small amount on your thread. Nice and sparse. I find that's the key to this type of spinner. Another thing I should mention I find with the hackle method for the wings, you don't get as much twisting as you do if you use poly yarn and that type of materials for the wings. I find anyway. Now we'll come back our first wrap right in front of our tail, and then we'll just keep that body thin as we're going up here. Of course, I'm going to need a little more dubbing, but alright, as you can see, the body is nice and thin, not too thick at all. Now I just need a tad bit more dubbing here to finish off. Some more wax on there. Alright. Okay. Dub that on. And we'll wrap that on for the body here to finish it off. Okay, there we go. So we're pretty much coming up about 3/4 of the way there, maybe a tad bit more than that on the body. Okay, next I have 2 light done hackles here, and When you're doing this hackle method, you want to choose hackles one size larger than you normally would. So tying on a 12 hook, so I sized up number 10 hackles for the fly. So we'll tie those in here right in front of the body, same as you would if you're tying in a regular dry fly. Just tie them on top on about a 45. Then I'll wrap forward on my hackle stems to lock them down good and tight. Step them off a little ways behind the eye there, and just keep wrapping forward. And that gives us a nice thread base to wrap our hackle on right there. Okay, so next, grab my hackle pliers and we'll start here. We'll wrap that first hackle. And we'll just make touching wraps going up to the eye. So we'll get this tied in here. Then we'll just proceed forward. Whoops, slipped out of the pliers there. That happens every so often. Alrighty. And we'll just wrap forward. Just like so here. And this gives a nice dense hackle if you use two, where we're going to be clipping it on the top and bottom. I like to use 2 hackles. Yeah. Okay. Of course this guy would give me a little harder time here, figures. But anyway, we'll get him under control. There we go. And we'll tie that one off right on top, that hackle tip. Nice and snug with 2 or 3 wraps. Okay. It's got a couple stray fibers here I want to trim in the back that are sticking out. There we go. Alrighty. Now we'll grab our next hackle and we're going to come around. And as I do on any dry fly, the second hackle I always zigzag it back and forth, wiggle it as I'm wrapping it, so it doesn't trap down any of the first hackle fibers there. Okay. Just give that a little wiggle as you go. Proceed forward in the same way. Okay. And we'll come around, tie that guy off in the same spot. A couple wraps up and around. Snug down on our thread. Release the pliers. And a couple more wraps to secure that in before I trim it. And I trim these nice and close here. Sorry if I'm blocking the view there. There we go. And we'll make 3 or 4 good securing wraps to make sure they're in there good and tight. Okay folks, that's all there is to the tying part pretty much. All that's left now is some trimming, so come in with my whip finisher here. As you can see, it's a very simple technique for tying a spinner. And we'll get 4 or 5 wraps on the head here and whip finish him off. Snug the thread down. Snip off my excess thread. Okay, so there's what we have. We just have 2 hackles wound on. Now what we'll do next, first we'll come on the top with our scissors and just come right level and cut that top section off. Just like so there. Cut the top hackles. Alrighty. Now turn it upside down. If you don't have rotary, you just switch the hook upside down. And we'll trim those bottom guys off of there. Just like so. A couple more there I want to get. Alright, and that's pretty much it, folks. Very simple technique for a spinner. Just going to even these top ones up with the bottom. So we have our wings laying pretty much flat. Alrighty, there we go. Let's trim a few more out of there. Well, there we have it. And as you can see, that gives you the your flat wings on the top. Okay. Just evening them out there a little bit. Well, there we go, folks. A very simple spinner fly, but very, very effective. And you could also tie the female egg laying spinner. All you have to do, which I have done, I tie them that way, is put a little yellow egg sac right at the back by your micro fibetts. And like I was saying, I tie them down to a size 20 or so. And this is how I tie most of my spinners, and it's easy, so I thought I'd share this technique with you. So anyway, like always, I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you'll tie try this spinner fly when you want to tie up some spinners. Use this method and give it a try. I'm sure you'll be glad that you did. So until next time, I want to thank you all for watching, like always, and if you haven't subscribed yet and you'd like to see more flies in the future, hit the good old subscribe button. Appreciate that. And until next time, everyone. And also, you just normally, of course, you'd put a little bit of head cement or UV on your head there. So, until next time, happy tying out there. We'll see you all again soon. And so long for now, folks.